Hey everyone, welcome to the Hudl 101 session for filmers. Let's go ahead and dive in with the agenda. So starting off, we'll go with an account tour for any of you who will be new to using Hudl. The goal here is just to make sure that you know your way around the account. Next, we'll go over some recording tips and then how to get the video online to Hudl after it's been recorded. Then we'll show you how to keep your library organized once it's full of video. And then finally, we'll wrap things up with talking about the resources available to you and getting support when you need it. So starting off with that account tour, let's get you acquainted to your account. Getting started, you'll go to hudl.com/login. There, when you get to that page, you'll see this screen where you'll be prompted to put in your username, which will be your email address, and then you'll put in your password that you've created for Hudl. Once you get logged in, this is the homepage that you'll see. Kind of similar to some other social media websites, you'll see a feed in the middle of your page with any updates that have been happening recently on your account. For example, if a video has been uploaded recently, you'll see a feed card showing you that. As well as from time to time, Hudl, we like to put some tips and tricks on there with different resources like that. So you can click on those at any time and check out what we put on your feed. Next, what I want to show you is the video tab across the top of your page. We're going to talk about this page a lot more in depth when we take kind of a little tour of the video page specifically, but I just wanted to show you this is where all of your video is kept on Hudl, whether it's game footage, practice footage, or opponent scout film. All of your video is kept on the video tab, so just wanted to show you that since that's kind of one of the most important tabs on Hudl. So that was just a quick account tour just on that home page and the video page. So now we'll move into getting video online to Hudl. We'll first start by going over some tips and tricks for recording and uploading, and then we're going to dive into the actual how to record and upload to Hudl. So jumping into those recording tips, starting off with a couple tips going through here, you're going to want to make sure you're at a great vantage point where you can capture the entire court at a time. Ideally, we recommend setting up behind the service line and a little bit higher up if possible, and then also switching between sides in between sets there. If getting behind the line isn't possible, you can set up at the back corner of the court. That would be our second recommendation. And then our third recommendation going down the line would be kind of at that half court. So that's kind of how the order goes. We're recommending behind the service line. If that's not possible, back corner of the court. And if that's not possible, then kind of at half court there. Then we also recommend recording the score often. So you could do this after every couple points, panning over the camera to where that score is being kept. Really just helps watching the video back when you're watching it on Hudl, that you can just kind of keep up with the flow of the game and you always get a good gut check of what that score is. That becomes really helpful for our assist analysts too when they're breaking down the game. Finally, you also want to make sure that you're capturing referee signals and jersey numbers. Referee signals are especially important, so again, that way when you're watching the video back, you know what's going on, so that way if there's a pause in action, you want to make sure that you're capturing what the referee is signaling, so that way it makes it just really easy to watch that film back. Diving into a few more tips here, making sure that you're recording in high definition. Most iPads and cameras, that shouldn't necessarily have to be something you worry about, but if you're recording from a camera itself, making sure that it's set to 720p, which is considered high definition. Some cameras you can choose if you want it in standard definition or high definition, so just making sure that you do have that camera output setting to record in 720p will be ideal for you. Next, this point is super important for volleyball teams. I love passing this tip along, and that's making sure to only pause the video at timeouts or longer breaks or in between sets. So I've seen a few times throughout the years watching film back on Hudl where the filmer for volleyball might pause the video after every point that's scored, and then they'll start the video again before every serve. And that just becomes pretty choppy to watch the film back, that it's constantly cutting in and out, and it runs the risk of missing some action. For example, possibly missing what a ref is signaling and things like that. So strongly recommend to only pause the video at timeouts or in between sets. Otherwise, let that video keep rolling in between points there. And then finally, making sure to record with audio. We find that it helps as you're watching the video play back, that it just helps with the flow of the video there. Finally, a few more things here, making sure that you communicate any and all of these tips to your filmers. So in case not every one of your filmers is watching this back with you right now, making sure that you just pass it along to them so everyone has the right expectations for filming this year. And then next point would be making sure you have enough battery life on that either camera or iPad that you use to record with. And then finally, making sure that you have enough storage space on the device you're using to record with. I typically recommend for volleyball matches, making sure that you have at least 2 gigs worth of free space on that device before each match you record. So that's something that you're going to want to keep in mind, especially if you're rolling into a tournament where you may be playing, up to 3 matches in a day. You're going to want to make sure that you have enough space to record each of those 3 matches and have them save on that device before they upload. So again, my rule of thumb is 2 gigs for each match there. Couple roadblocks just wanted to go over with you. Sometimes we might see that some people might miss some film from time to time. Typically, we might see that at like the beginning of a new set. So like at the beginning of the second set, if just the camera didn't get quite set up in time and they might have missed the first few points. So that's just something that we always want to make sure that, you're just ready to roll for the action there. Second point would be not having enough gym space. Again, we do recommend recording from behind the service line. If that's not possible, then in the back corner. And then if that's not possible, recording at half court. So there should definitely be an option for you between those 3 options, but just making sure that you're kind of prepared for the space you're going to be in. And then the third point would be not following the proper steps to save and exit the video, especially when recording through the Hudl app. So I have some screenshots that I'll actually show you in a couple slides here of how to record and upload through Hudl. So I'll make sure that we go over that process of how to properly save and exit your video. So those are just some tips there. Now we're going to move into the actual how to record and upload to Hudl. There's 2 different ways we're going to go over here. The first way to record and upload to Hudl is through a Hudl app on an iPad, and then it will upload over Wi-Fi. The second way to record and upload to Hudl would be through a camera, so like a Sony camera or a Samsung camera, and then uploading those files over the computer to hudl.com. So we're going to walk through both ways here, but just wanted to give you a heads up that there's 2 ways to record and upload to Hudl. So jumping into that first way to record and upload through Hudl on an iPad, like I mentioned, you're going to want to make sure that you download and install the Hudl app on that iPad. So you'll just search the App Store for Hudl, H-U-D-L, and you'll get that installed on there. It's a free download, and you'll use the exact same username and password that you use to log into hudl.com on the web. You'll use that same login and password when logging into the app. Once you're logged into the app, what you'll do is click on this camera icon right here with that little tag. What that will do is it will bring up all of your schedule entries that have already been put into Hudl. And what you'll do is tap record the game next to the match that you want to start recording. In case your match isn't listed because maybe you guys are in the middle of a tournament so you didn't know what your next match was going to be, you can always click right down here at the bottom that says add a schedule entry. And then what it will do is it will prompt you to put in your opponent's name and then the date and time, and then you'll be able to start recording specifically to that match there. Once you tap on record the match, it'll open up the camera on your iPad, and it's as simple as tapping on the red button on the right-hand side to start recording. Like I mentioned, during timeouts or in between sets, you can tap that red button to pause the recording during those longer breaks, and then you'll just tap that red button to start recording again. I also wanted to call attention to the green cloud icon in the upper left-hand corner. What's really slick is if your iPad is connected to Wi-Fi while you're recording, it'll also be uploading to Hudl as you're recording. So it just makes it really efficient to record and upload your film to Hudl since it'll be uploading as you're recording. But actually, no worries at all if you're at a place where you don't have access to Wi-Fi, whether it's you don't know what the password is or the Wi-Fi is just really slow due to all the amount of people in the same room. That's no problem. You can still absolutely record through the Hudl app without being connected to Wi-Fi, it just won't start uploading until you do get that iPad connected to Wi-Fi. So one pro tip that I like to pass along, if you, let's say you're at a tournament with tons of courts and the place is packed and maybe the Wi-Fi is really spotty or you just don't even have access to it, what you could do as the filmer is turn on the hotspot on your phone and connect your iPad to it, so that way it still will be uploading as you're recording. But again, no worries at all. That's not a requirement. You can still absolutely record through the iPad and just wait till later in the day once you get back home, and then it will start uploading over Wi-Fi. Again, my tip though is just making sure that you have enough space on that device to keep all of those games on there. So again, my rule of thumb was 2 gigs for every volleyball match you record on there. You'll want to make sure there's enough room on that iPad to store all those games while you're waiting for them to upload. And then finally, once the match is over, so in between sets, you'll just tap on that red button to pause the recording, but when the whole match is over, and you'll tap on this button to save and exit. And then that's when you'll be prompted to put in a video title, and then you'll choose if it's practice game or scout. There, you can also choose if you need to change the schedule entry it's going to be attached to. It should sync up automatically because you selected the schedule entry before you started recording, but that's where you can go in and change it at any time. Otherwise, once you get those details filled out, all you have to do is hit done. There are a couple pro tips that I want to go over when it comes to uploading film through the Hudl app. Is you'll want to make sure you keep open the Hudl app and make sure that that iPad always stays awake. So making sure that the lock screen doesn't automatically turn on, let's say after 2 minutes of you not using the iPad, you want to make sure that the screen stays on the whole time instead of turning off. That can sometimes stop the uploading progress if the screen turns off, because then it will background all of the apps and kind of stop them from working. So you'll just want to make sure you keep the Hudl app open, and as well as keep your device open, so that way it stays connected to Wi-Fi. Perfect. So those are some kind of the how-to to record and upload through the Hudl app on an iPad. Now we'll talk about uploading from a camera. So you'll take your existing camera, again, whether it's a Canon camera, a Sony camera, a GoPro, what you'll do is you'll then take those files and put them on your computer. It is different from camera model to camera model of exactly how that works. Some cameras have an SD card that you'll plug into your computer. I have seen other cameras have a USB cord that you can plug in the camera via USB cord to your computer. So once those files are on your computer, then you can upload over hudl.com. I'm going to slide on over here to my demo Hudl account. So what that will look like once you have those files on your camera, you'll click on this gray upload button at the top of your screen. And then this is where you'll go ahead and hit select files. Then it will bring up all the recordings on, it'll bring up all the files on your computer, where then you can select which files you want to upload to Hudl. You'll want to make sure to grab all of the files that make up each match. So if, let's say you recorded your last match and it had 3 different sets, and you paused the video a couple times during that. So let's say you have 5 video files that make up that one match. You'll want to make sure to grab all 5 files and upload them at the same time, so it uploads as one video on Hudl. So to grab multiple files, what you'll do is you'll click on one, and then you'll hold down the Shift key and click on the other files that you also want to upload to, so that way it'll select all of those files to upload at the same time. Once you have all of those files uploaded, once you have all of those files selected, you'll click on this blue button to upload those files here. So I'll go ahead and select my file, I'll hit open, and then this is what will start the uploading progress. So you can see it's starting to upload on the left-hand side, but what I also want to call attention to is on the right-hand side. This is where you'll enter in all the details of the video. This is where you'll put in what schedule entry that you want to attach the file to. It will automatically give the video a title based on your schedule entry, but you can always rename it if you want to put the date of the game in there, or if you want to change anything. You can change the title of the recording if you want. And then you can hit save. And then finally, you can choose who you want to share the video with. It'll automatically choose to share with the entire team, but you can change that if you want, if you only want to share it with just the coaches or things like that. But otherwise, no worries there. It'll default to sharing with everyone. And then you'll go to your video page, and then you can see the video will start processing there once that upload is complete. And then going back to getting your files on your camera, if you have any questions on that process, because like I mentioned, every camera can be a little bit different of, one, how to get those files on your computer, and then two, where do you locate them when you want to actually upload them to Hudl. If you have any questions on that process, please don't hesitate to reach back out as you're getting started on this season uploading. At the end of the session here today, I'll go over the resources available to you, so where you can find support's phone number as well as their email address, so that way you can absolutely reach out if you have any questions. We want to make sure that you guys are feeling confident when it comes to recording and uploading to Hudl. Awesome, so that is getting your film on Hudl. So next we'll talk about library organization. So here we have a screenshot of the video page, and there's a couple things I want to go over with you guys. So I'm actually just going to hop back over here to my demo Hudl account so I can show you that there. So I'm back here on my video tab, and this is where I really want to dive into lots of different things here. So starting off with, I wanted to just show you how the library organizes itself automatically. It will order the videos in order by when they were uploaded to Hudl. So kind of scrolling down here, you can see that the first thing that we're seeing is video added in the last 7 days will be up at the top. And then you can scroll down, it just goes in order of when those videos were uploaded to Hudl. So scrolling down on my example Hudl account, we can see there's a video from March 2019, and then there's some videos from April 2018, and then March of 2018, so you can start to see how that organizes itself there. So it'll be in order from when you get those videos uploaded. Next, I wanted to show you there is a search bar at the top of your video page. So in case you are looking for a particular video and you weren't finding it quite right away, while you're scrolling down your account, what you can do is start to type in the title of a video, and then it will populate any videos that match what you typed in there. So it looks like I have a video right here against Johns Hopkins. So I can click on that video and start watching that there. Otherwise, you can hit the X and that will clear the search and pull all the videos back up there. Next, I wanted to go over the different filters on the left-hand side of your video player, starting with actually the bottom section of the filtering, where this will list out all of your different schedule entries, where you can then check the box next to that schedule entry and it will pull up the video that's attached to it there. So how this one works is it will list your schedule entries there once the video has been attached to it. So at the beginning of your season, you won't see many schedule entries listed here, but you'll start to see them listed as you upload more and more games and attach them to a schedule entry. So you can check the box next to them and then it will show that video that matches that. You can also check multiple boxes at one time and it will pull up anything that matches any of those schedule entries there. You can also check the box next to a whole season and things like that. Moving up, you can also filter by content type. So like I mentioned at the beginning, the video page will have all of your practice film, scout film, and game footage here. So you can select the box next to game, so it'll bring up all of your videos that are your own game footage. If you also have any opponent scout film on your Hudl account, you can check the box next to scout and it will pull up those. And as well as if you have any video playlists, you can check the box next to playlist and it will pull those up there. What playlists are clips from either game footage or scout footage that a coach has pulled aside and wanted to highlight certain moments of the video, whether it's for a film review session or they just want people to watch that certain points of the video back. That's what a playlist is. It's different moments of game footage kind of put together, so that way you can watch those moments back easier. And then scrolling up, there are custom labels on Hudl. So what custom labels are, allows you to add an extra layer of organization on top of how Hudl organizes the library. So for example, you're able to filter by schedule entry, and as well as you're able to filter by content type. But if you wanted to do additional filtering, you could do that as well. So what I mean by that is if you had a tournament and you played in 5 different matches in that tournament, what you could do for each of those 5 different matches on Hudl is give it a custom label title. For example, Big South Tournament, you could give it a title, or excuse me, a custom label there. So that way, if you check this box, it will pull up all of the matches that were in that specific tournament. So we see teams using it for tournaments. We also see teams using it for wins and losses. So there's not a way to default to searching by wins and losses, but what you could do is add a custom label to each of your videos if it's a win or a loss. So that way you could check that box and it will pull up all of your wins. And then there's another, and then if you create one that says loss, you could check that box and pull up all the losses as well. So it's totally up to you guys and your team if you want to take advantage of custom labels, and it's also up to you guys of how you want to use them. So we had those examples here. So let me go ahead and I'll show you what it looks like to add a custom label. So here's a video that I just uploaded. If I click on edit, it will pull up details on the right hand side where then I can add a label here. You can start typing in any key or any word that you want to, but also you can start typing in a custom label that already exists. So if I typed in right now Big South, we would see that that Big South tournament came up as an option, and I could add it to that label, as well as I could type in a new name for a new tournament. And I could hit Save Changes. And now we can see, since I gave this video a new custom label of Hudl Classic Tournament, I could check the box next to that, and now it will pull up that video, as well as I could add that same custom label to any other match. So totally up to you guys, again, to take advantage of custom labels. But that's how, by hovering your mouse over the video and clicking on edit, that's how you can start adding those labels there. So I could also go back and add it as a win. So you can add multiple labels too per match. Awesome. Next thing that I did want to show you while we were still on this video page was in the upper right hand corner, there's actually 2 different ways to display your library. How we're displaying it right now is this grid view, how it will show a picture of your game so you can kind of get a little preview of what it is. But you can also choose to have it listed out kind of down the line by clicking on this button right here. All the exact same functionality is there. It really just displays your library differently. It does default to showing you this grid view unless you want to switch over to the list view. Just wanted to show you that some people have a preference of how they view their library. I personally like the grid view because I'm used to seeing it this way, but also there are plenty of people out there who do like that list view. And then my final recommendation while we're on the video page is for each team to discuss how you want to title and organize your video, and then stick to that system throughout the whole season. So for example, I have a video that I just uploaded here. It's called versus Wesleyan University -game. If I hover my mouse over it and click edit, this is where I can edit the title of the video. So if you want to title it that you always want to have it versus your opponent, but then let's say you always want to have the date right after it, you can absolutely do that. And then you can hit Save Changes. You can edit the title at any time. But I just recommend that you guys find a system that you want to do, whether it's how you want to title the video and as well as what custom labels you want to use, and then stick to it throughout the season. So that way you guys can be super organized as the season goes on there. And then again, yeah, just another pro tip of using those custom labels to quickly find what you're looking for there. Awesome. Last thing that we're going to talk about today are some support resources for you. So if you guys have any questions as you're using your Hudl account, one of the first places that you could go to is our support page, which is hudl.com/support. So I'll pull up our support page here. So this is where you can see our support page. Again, hudl.com/support. And then this is where you can type in any keyword. So if you have a question on how to upload video, you could type in upload and then it will pull up some different tutorials there for you. As well as, I'll go back here. If you have any questions on, down the road of how to make highlights, you can type in highlight, pull up the tutorials, and then it will walk you through step by step of how to do something with screenshots and arrows and a short description of what you're looking to do on your account there. So again, whether you have questions on uploading, creating highlights, anything else, type in a keyword and you'll most likely find there's a tutorial there for that. And then we also have Hudl Academy. Hudl Academy is a self-guided online learning course that walks you through different things on Hudl. So I'm going to go back to the support page here, and you can click on Hudl Academy up at the top of your screen. Otherwise, you can also go to hudl.com/academy, and then you can click on volleyball courses. And then here, if you scroll down, we have different courses listed that include videos and tutorials that walk you through different things. And you can do this on your own time. Everyone has access to Hudl Academy. So for example, if you wanted to go over some more recording and uploading, you can click on Upload and Exchange Video, and then it will walk you through some different videos, and it will have different pro tips and things like that going through there. So definitely encourage you guys, if you want more training or if anyone else can watch this training session back, that they can go ahead and dive into Hudl Academy too. And then finally, wanted to make sure that everyone has this information too. Our support team are absolute rock stars. You can reach out to them at any time via email. Their email is support@hudl.com. They have excellent response times, and they're open 7 days a week. So you're going to hear back from someone, pretty shortly after you send in an email. Depending on the time of day you send that in, you'll hear back pretty quickly. And then there's also our support phone number. I do want to mention that the support phone number is just specifically for coaches and filmers who upload to Hudl. If any of your athletes have a question, we would love to help them out. Just encourage your athletes to go to support@hudl.com via email. And we'll help them out that way. But specifically for coaches and filmers, if you have any questions while you're uploading your film to Hudl, go ahead and give them a call. Like I mentioned, they're open 7 days a week and they're eager to help out and walk you through anything. So definitely wanted to make sure that you guys had all the resources available to you guys as you are getting started this year. Well, perfect. Again, reach out if you have any questions. That's all the information that I wanted to cover here today. Wanted to say best of luck with volleyball this season, and hope this season goes really well for you. Take care.